All right, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order and open up the floor to discussion of the minutes from last meeting.
I didn't see any errors, so I will move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we go right into the reports then for Mary and the director's report. Friends of Library report.
So, for the Friends of the Library, they did have a sale last week. I have not met with them to find out how well they did, but I know they were pretty busy. So, I'm hoping it was pretty successful. As far as the director's report, the Cetera CD came due. And I went ahead and had him liquidate the money. So we made about $2,052, which, if you notice how well our money is doing at Star Financial with the new checking account, we probably would have made more money had we just left it in there, but it is what it is. However, when they went to transfer the funds back to the checking account, there were two checking accounts we originally had. We kept one number, we closed the other, the preferred liquidity. So they actually couldn't transfer the funds with the number they had. So they cut a check and it's in the mail. So, yeah. So when the money finally gets here, what I'll do next month, because I'll have the exact amount, is ask you guys for your approval to transfer that money to the rainy day fund. But I want to get the exact amount and I want to make sure it's in the bank before we do that.
The mailing the check?
Yeah.
How much, even if we lose $50 a day or something like that? Or it's somewhere, God knows where. One of us could have walked down and picked it up.
I don't understand the whole thing because the Cetera account was, I mean, it's a Star person. It's a Star, so I don't understand, but it is what it is.
I'm guessing it's probably handled by some third party.
And
Who's over out in Florida?
so, because the current checking account we have now is the same number we had with the regular checking account. It's that preferred liquidity that we canceled that account, so anyways.
We're going to table the transfer till
We're
next
gonna,
month.
yeah, until I can actually show you the money in the bank that we have to transfer. Okay, I gave you a couple extra things. The first thing I want to talk about is ILF. It's red, white letters, a red box. There has been some big concern about House Bill 1343, which did pass the House. I think 62 nays and 34 yays. No, the other way, 62 yays and 34 nays.
Okay, I'm sorry, which one are you talking about? 13?
House Bill 1343. What that basically is saying is that if the library ever goes over the average growth quotient, consistently goes over the average growth quotient, then the city or the county council would have the ability to vote to have us under binding review, as I understand it. And Greg, you can certainly, and I've got the whole bill here if you want. But anyways, current law states that right now. So I'm not sure where they are very up in arms. There's a 4-page document that I got you, and they explained in there some of their concerns about this bill. Our representatives did vote in favor of it. The one way that it will affect us is we had originally discussed going to the county council to ask if we could make an additional payment on the debt service to pay it earlier so that we would have that debt. Well, I don't know that I'm going to do that now because it would put us over the ADGQ for this year, and I just don't want to have that mark on us. I think there's probably a little concern too that, the responsibility for the budget and for running the library falls on you guys. And if they would take over the budget piece.
Who's our representative?
That would be Chris Judy and Andy Zay.
Have you ever talked to Andy about it?
I did not talk to Andy about House Bill 1343 because I wasn't overly concerned about it because we already have that, you know, and I'll be honest with you, if I would consistently go over the average growth quotient, I would hope somebody would hold me accountable for doing that. So I don't have the transparency issue with it, but again, I think I'm unlike other library directors who seem to be very concerned about it.
Why did they pass this if that's already the law?
Because I think I would have to read that carefully again, but as I understand it, they would pass a resolution. The county council would be able to say, hey, they've gone over, so we're gonna go ahead and put them under binding review from here on out. It's a little bit different.
So if you do it 1 year, they can put you under binary review for as many years
As they want to. And then the
Not just that
original,
1 year.
we could be for as long as they want to, or for however they want to. And then I think there was another concern that they could reduce the budget by as much as they wanted. So they could say, hey, the library doesn't need this much money and drop it by, you know, $100,000 or whatever. And they're saying, no, you can't do that. You can only reduce their amount by the same amount that you would any other political subdivision. Yeah.
So in a way, that's a protection that we didn't have before, right?
Correct. I think the issue too is this is Representative Leonard out of Huntington. This all goes back to when Catherine Holst was the director at Huntington. I'm sure Greg may remember that whole issue. There was a big deal with the Markle branch being built. Kathy is gone now, but I think Representative Leonard, he has introduced a similar bill every year I've been here. So it's finally, he finally had enough people that saw the value in it. But
Has
I
it
felt
gone to the Senate yet, or
no, it isn't right now. So,
they haven't voted on it?
correct. But my impression, and I know I'm not in the same group with some of my colleagues, but I feel like it's measured and reasonable. I go over the average growth quotient, somebody should be holding me accountable for that. So,
Don't hear reasonable with government stuff very often.
pardon me?
You don't hear government stuff being reasonable very often.
So,
What? And it doesn't apply to Marion County.
I know.
That may have been how they got it passed.
Well, they don't have county, their libraries are not under the county, right, in Marion County, and they,
Under each of the townships or under the city, I don't know.
yeah, it's probably just not the structure that we would have.
Well, and I think Jackie Nidas, who's their library director, spoke to him about whatever issues she had with it. So. And she served on there, gosh, she was on the council for years. So she knows people. But I'm letting you know, and certainly you can read it, if you have concerns about it, you know, you can contact your representative, however, it has already passed the House. And our people would have voted. So, wanted you to know that. The other thing I wanted to mention is I sent you a picture of the hold I picked up when I went to Allen County to get this book. And this would make our life a lot easier up there. We do, right currently, we wrap them and we put rubber bands around them. I would like to see us do something like this.
It's, I guess, the question I had, and I guess I didn't understand, and you can help me. So we had one book on hold, and I don't think I retrieved it myself. Our hold our whole shelf is behind circulation, that's
No,
right?
it is not, it's out. It used to be, but I
Okay.
assume it took up too much.
Well-
And that's why I copied our privacy information.
Well, and that's,
so you can see it.
yeah, because I guess my thought was, well, as long as nobody but staff has seen it anyway, it doesn't make any difference. But if what you're saying is anybody that passes past the shelf and cares to rifle through and see who's checking out what books,
But the names are on the outsides of that.
Yeah,
Correct.
but the
title
cover, you
is
can't
covered.
identify what the book is.
Ah, okay.
But that's why I'm bringing it to you.
So there
You
would
want me to do
be
it, we
no
won't do it.
privacy with this system, right?
Right, but I'll be honest with you, when I went to pick this up, it was like, not a big deal.
well, maybe, I don't know if there would be a way that we could actually tell somebody if we're putting something on hold, and I suppose once they have it, they know it's not going to be, that's not going to be secret. I don't, if there's some way to disclose, by the way, if you put something on hold, anybody that is curious will be able to see it. I don't.
Are they still on hold, meaning that nobody else can check that book out, even if they
Well, they
take it to
could
the
grab
front?
it. They could grab this book and take it up there and check it out, but it's already on hold for me.
Your concern
so
was the
it's gonna
privacy
stop.
thing, right?
Right, my concern was the privacy
Okay.
thing. Because I really, as far as ease for staff, being a time saver and that kind of thing, I'm like, okay, and then I'm thinking Allen County's doing this, so there must not be an issue with
They're in all kinds
privacy.
of trouble.
Well, that's because of their collection. But I didn't see on our privacy policy, because it talks about the patrons'
Records.
personal information and their records. So, and if you don't want us to, I'm fine with it. I'm just bringing it up because I thought, oh, okay.
Well, how would we get a ticket printed like that with?
Well, we print our tickets like we normally do, only ours wouldn't come out printed like this. We'd have to hand print the name of the person on here. So a ticket already comes out, it has all your information on it. We would just have, wherever the extra paper is, turn it this way and put your name on it, the last 4 digits of your barcode. Yeah. It would just be, for us, it would be a time.
Where is, I was, first I thought it was a bad idea, I'm starting to get on over a little bit to it. Where is the whole shelf in relation to the circulation desk?
It's next to the circulation desk, the wall when you, so you walk out, it's right there. It's
Okay.
close to
If I'm
us.
facing it, not inside, but at a customer's, it's there to the right?
Correct.
Okay. By the, that's.
No, it's by the left.
By that
It's
Indiana
right,
room.
that's correct.
The right-
And then-
well, the Indiana- I was gonna ask, right in front of the Indiana room or
Right.
whatever it is, okay. If somebody just seemed to be
Rifling through.
rifling through to see what was going on, a staff member could certainly say, may I help you?
Mhm.
Well, I was just looking, unless you have a book on hold, that's really none of your concern.
Mhm.
And they get emailed or called, right, when their book
Correct.
comes in on hold,
Yes, that is correct.
so.
So who gets the book for them? Do they get it, or does the library?
You get it yourself.
You get it yourself?
You get your book yourself.
So when, I mean, you'll be looking for it, you know, one book at a time, if you got 4 or 5, you get to it.
Well, that's why this was cool, because I picked my name out right away when I saw, well, you can't see it now.
Well, now they're down the spine, aren't they? And when you have them, they're down the spine?
Right.
Yeah. On a piece of paper or something. So we have to handwrite the name on it anyway. What you're
Correct.
saying is it saves the step of rubber banding it, making sure it's right
Drafting and
size.
all that
and
other
sticking
stuff,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
To keep the privacy, what somebody's checking out. I
thought it
don't,
was just
Why don't we
to
go
protect
ahead
the
and
back of the
try
book.
I don't, I guess, the more that I'm thinking about it, we can get, this is all a matter of degree, because technically if somebody wants to stand up next to the circulation desk, they can watch what everybody else checks out anyway.
This is true.
So, and if everybody knows that's the system, and we make it clear, by the way, if you put something on hold, it's gonna be there.
For all the witnesses.
Yeah. So, and then, like I say, I don't know, you don't need a motion or anything for that.
Oh, well, I want you guys to tell me.
But the same thing is like, if the market checking out,
Yeah.
and you're watching, the guy's taking a case of beer, he's got this, he's got potato chips, I say, be having a party, hey, Frank. But I think my personal opinion is.
So, are you wanting a change in the privacy policy then?
No, I think what she's asking us is if we think it violates the privacy
Exactly,
policy.
exactly.
And I'm gonna say, I think it's a matter of degree. It's kind of what Don was saying here. Even though the grocery doesn't have a privacy policy, anybody could see what somebody's checking out at the circulation desk if they really wanted to know. So I think the privacy policy is aimed at records, personal information, somebody to know what you check out generally and that type of thing. So this, to me, doesn't strike me as anything more, disclosing anything more than if I happen to be checking out something and somebody was standing next to me in line, you can see that. It's not like we have a HIPAA distance thing where you have to stand back and, no, but I mean, that's, so what I will do is move to authorize you to have the shelving for the books on hold as they do in Allen County, noting that I don't believe it violates the privacy policy we have in place. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of changing the hold policy? Aye.
You know, it's
If we
even
get
worse.
lots of complaints, we can always.
And then,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
if somebody, yeah, if you get
Okay.
a lot, I don't know, word stuff, I don't know what.
Well, you know what's even worse, when you check out any place, the checkout was just, oh, you owe $85. That's just it right there. What they buy for $85? Or $100, whatever, right? You know,
Right.
The one question I have, you said it would save time. How much time does it normally take to, because, you're just adding the rubber band on the other way. This way you're removing that part. I mean, is it?
I mean, I would have to time them myself, but I'm seriously, guys.
You think it's a lot? Well, there's a lot of holes, so
We
yeah.
get so many books that come through. I mean, our shipments are huge.
Usually like 2 cars.
Yeah.
almost
Well, there's
full.
that, but to get to the holds, they have to, like, we got 67 bags of books on Monday. That's a lot of books.
Yeah.
And they could take them up to 4 hours to process all the
And they
books.
put them in
Well,
an
some of
envelope
those
for
are
a
books
sleeve.
that are coming back to us that belong to us.
Correct, but you don't-
They all come together.
They don't know until they
Yes.
process them.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That
So,
makes more sense, doesn't it?
and so then, when you would already have it come with a slip. And they're like, okay, it's on a hold from so-and-so, you write the name on there and put it on the thing. Otherwise, you have to,
Right.
you know,
Because it comes
wrap
with a
it
slip
and
that
then put
says
it
like
on
what
a thing.
library it came from. and where it's
You put it in a
The-
sleeve or something right now, or a
We actually just
jacket?
take a
Envelope?
piece of paper and wrap it and
Okay.
rubber bands around.
So it's the
it,
wrapping,
put
the
it
whole
in.
wrapping process.
It's the
of
whole
relabeling.
process that
Okay.
can,
I,
You put those books in there alphabetically or just randomly?
they're by patron's last name, so they're alphabetical by patron's last name.
okay.
So, thank
There
you
you-
very much.
You're welcome.
Personnel and policy committees discussion. You guys care if you don't serve on the committees? Do you want to be on the committees? Do we need to make somebody be on the committees? Now, this will change the bylaws. And I'm not doing it, the only reason I'm doing it is I know that you two have served on this committees a long time. We're talking 8 years at least. And I know, Greg, you were doing it, and probably Margaret, you were doing it before I came.
I can't remember when I started either. I do remember it was before you came.
And I do know there was like 25 people, not being exact, there was like 8 people on the committee.
That
It was
committee
like
used to be a-
2-hour-long meetings. Yeah. And
We did.
you have final say on any modifications. I'm trying to be respectful, honestly, I'm trying to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I liked being able to preview them, but I can get those in board reports. I'm not sure that there was that much more of a preview. We can make the same suggestions. You can certainly say that policy, the personnel committee's meeting or the policy committee's meeting, do you guys have any concerns with unattended child policy or whatever? So I don't have a problem with it, but we will need to, at a future meeting, visit. We'll have to get some.
How
Are we okay with that thing?
Well, I don't care. Margaret, would your heart be broken if you didn't have to go to?
I think you've kind of carried on with it.
She has been carrying more of it and has changed it almost to a kind of a pass-through where I don't even show up at the meetings usually, and she said, here's what we're thinking of doing, and
We're doing a lot of it through email.
Yeah.
I might meet with the staff one time, and then we make our assignments, and then we communicate through email, just because it's easier. It
Yeah.
just is.
Plus, there's a paper trail of conversations. that
That's
way,
very
too, for
true.
Minutes, yeah.
maybe the way to ask it, is anybody concerned with that or have a problem with that, or is anybody dying to serve on the
Well,
personnel
it always
or on the
comes-
policy committee?
It always comes back to the board for approval or any,
Yep.
you always have to see them anyway.
Yep.
So did you want a board member still on the committees, or are you saying the way it's going now with technology and those things moving is?
I think it's okay not to have a board member on the committees. It's just, well, Greg, he used to be a mayor trying to schedule.
I think what she, yeah, and I guess she doesn't want to seem like she's trying to push the board members off
No.
the committees. But what she's saying is unless somebody's really dying to spend that additional
We
time.
used to have community people on the committee.
Yes,
too, right?
yes, we used to
I don't think
have,
we're
we
not
used to
doing that
have community
anymore.
members on the committees. But unless the board members are dying to be on those committees, she's saying she'd be willing to do it without them. And it all comes through the board anyway, so.
Yeah, it all comes here for approval, for a vote anyway.
Exactly.
And that would have to be something we'd have to have language for to approve anyway.
Can you come back with a proposed change to the bylaws? And I don't know, does that
Sure.
require introduction at one meeting and passages at another? Do you know offhand?
No, I didn't think so. I
Okay.
wanted to do it all one time.
All right, well, and
I
maybe
don't
if
know.
you send the language up front, then we can maybe vote on it at the next meeting.
Oh, great. Okay.
Nobody has, I guess we don't need a motion for that, but just
Just so I know what to do.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like anybody has a problem with it.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
There are a couple things I need to let you know about. Because tomorrow and Friday, they are going to be working on some of the ductwork for the boiler projects. I have to have the building fire alarm put on test mode. So, and I've already talked to Chris LaRue, the fire marshal, he's aware of this, and I'm just letting you know. And we have to do the fire safety patrol checklist. So that means every hour, someone on staff is, and we've got it all figured out, all assigned, that somebody actually go get your little fire vest and walk around and check off areas to make sure that there's nothing happening or a fire of any cause, So we're doing that for the next 2 days, and I wanted you to be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to let you know is I'm going to be meeting with Stephanie Davis, who was the Wells County Public Library Director. She's been in charge of a lot of building projects in her tenure. She is now retired, but she is looking to be a consultant. So I thought I'd have a meeting with her to talk about next year's project, which is going to be repainting and the flooring, and maybe redoing the bathroom, and maybe we can get some rough work done on that space back there where the new boilers will be. But I'm gonna meet with her on the 20th, just to have an overall conversation with her, because I just wanna keep moving.
What's her name again? I think we've talked about her before.
Stephanie Davis.
Is she the one that you had mentioned sometime in the past about possibly consulting?
Yeah, it's exactly the same person, and when I first started, I went to see Stephanie to pick her brain and kind of have her mentor me in this position, so. It's somebody I know and trust. Okay, you have a copy of the first draft of the annual report that Katie DeWitt did for us, and I just got that today, so I just wanted you to see that. I thought it turned out pretty great.
Sounds interesting.
This is mine.
The other thing I wanted to ask is if I could go ahead and draw $1,500 from the Community Foundation money to pick up 6 tablets for the robotics and Blocks Rock. It's a kind of a kit that you get, the blocks are in it and there's a timer in it. It's a way to kit for kids to do competitive STEM building. And I wanted to get 6 of those kits for the classrooms. However, because we have $290,000 less to spend out of the operating budget that we did last year, I'm gonna have to rely a little bit extra thing that we do.
Which fund?
This would come out of the Peabody Public Library Fund at the community.
And that's an
foundation.
endowment fund, so it's gonna be the interest or the.
Yeah.
Correct. There's about $4,000 in it, and I'd like to use about $1,500.
4,000 available.
4,000 available.
When would you just want that,
If it's okay for you, with you that I do it, I can contact them tomorrow and they can cut a check by next week.
I move to authorize Mary to pull $1,500 out of the Peabody Public
Library Fund.
Library Fund at the Woodley County Community Foundation for tablets.
Yes, tablets.
Send kits.
Okay.
good move, do we have a second? Second. Any other questions or anything on that? Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion.
Okay, the only other thing I wanted you to be aware of is in front of you, you have two documents from PDP. The first document that is several pages is actually information they gave to us at our second construction meeting. And it also includes the minutes from that meeting, so that you know what we discussed, what we're gonna do, how it's gonna be done, that kind of information.
Is this the general contractor?
That's the general contractor, yes. So, if you wanna take some time to review those.
This is the meeting that you talked about here, the boiler project updates, the construction meetings.
Correct.
Page 1 of your report, this was the first one of those.
Correct.
And I take minutes and so we don't have to go to the meetings, we can just get
You can get the
a
information.
couple of these each meeting. This one came out too late, but normally would you be including these as part of the package then?
I think I got it after the fact.
That's why I said, I think this
Yeah.
one's late.
Mhm.
With it being, if the meeting took place on the 8th, you probably didn't get this until the part of this week.
Just email them?
But I assume in the future, would you
We
mind
can
emailing
put
with
the,
the package?
that's not a problem. I
Okay,
can put it in
perfect.
the package, but
Perfect.
yeah.
No, that's, I assume this one was a little late, but it looks like there's gonna be one every couple of weeks, so we could have them in the packages. That's
So is that 6 keys total, or?
Actually, 4 sets of keys.
Four
So
sets
eight-
of keys.
Yeah,
8
so
keys.
8 keys total. And they do understand that it's $800 to try to get the building ready. And they understand they're responsible for that.
How many people are here working usually, I mean, at any given time?
You know,
Wow.
at first, when we first started, I would say there was probably 3, 4 that were here consistently. And it's waiting, but they also poured cement on Monday, so the cement needs to harden before it's going to the next project. And I'd be more than happy to unlock the doors and you guys can go look and see what they've done.
How about after the meeting?
After the
Everybody
meeting,
wants to.
yeah.
So, any?
Okay, then the other document you have is a cost from the controls people, which is technical control solutions. So that money will come out of the $10,000 cushion they already have built into the quote. So I just wanted you to be apprised of price.
And this was upsizing, this wasn't a mistake or anything, we
Right.
just decided to upsize, okay?
Yeah. And with that, I don't have anything else unless you have questions of me.
I did, about
Okay.
the artifacts that were found? Like, just boxes of them, or?
No, it was just one box.
Yeah, I was curious.
And it was actually something when I first started, Debbie had shown it to me, and I think it came from the building, you know, that was down on Jackson Street.
Oh,
So.
They've been in, you don't know if they were in
I
dispute cases or
don't know
anything?
if anybody ever, but all I know is for the last, 8 years, they've been in a box in the basement, and I thought, I bet Danny Timmons would really appreciate this. So I called her, and she really appreciated it. So now they can be on display at the historical museum. Not sitting in a box in the basement of the library.
I have a question on the city not doing our mowing
Yes.
on our utility. Do we know what they are or where they are?
Do I know where the
The
easements
easements
are?
are.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I don't expect them to be mowed every week, and I don't expect them maybe every 2 weeks. So I mean, don't let Hodges figure I gotta mow those every week, because all they are is just trimming, unless they're right next to our grassy areas, that's what I say. I don't know, back through the lake area there, they were mowing now.
I think we actually have to pay, we might have to mow along Tower View, then back over here, and then along where the phone lines are here, is right
Well, I
there.
think before
But
we
I was
start-
thinking if they did it once a month,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, unless it's in the right of way out by the road
Right.
or something like that, yeah. I
Well,
think
out by
it's-
the road, that's the city's.
Yeah.
But it's,
But the power lines, like
Yeah.
phone, or gas, maybe electric or whatever.
sounds like you got,
But maybe before those guys start, we ought to look that over.
Well, they're supposed to give me a quote, and I haven't gotten that yet,
but
so.
sounds like, I think that's a good idea. If those are areas kind of in the
Yeah.
corners, once a month is probably just not the weed, yeah. I agree with you, we don't need to pay them to mow
Every week.
every
Right.
5 days or something like that, yeah, like we would everything else.
Okay, I'll make sure I pass that along. I kinda wanna see what the quote is gonna be, so.
And make sure it stays on the clock.
Say what?
It stays in there how many times you're gonna mow.
Okay, yeah, it should, yeah. That's all I have then. Uh-oh, no, I lied. I would like to have a discussion with you probably next month on the statistics from Impact Institute. They're the ones that use our computer lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And HSE is high school equivalent, see?
Correct. I had asked for these statistics. It's becoming problematic with us not being able to access that computer lab. There are certain days that we discovered that we could really use the
And they need the computer lab for the class. I mean, they
Right.
need that kind of facility though.
That's correct. So I think it probably would be best to have the discussion in executive session. So I'm thinking we could maybe discuss this next week, or, yeah, next week, or next month.
Yeah.
So I gave you this information so you could have it to look over and we can discuss next Spencer's.
Now where we go? That, does anyone else have any questions for anything else for Mary, for the reports?
Oh, I don't have any other reports. One of the claims.
Yep. All right, moving into monthly claims. Any discussions, questions?
And this has probably been asked and answered, and I'm sorry if I feel like I ask the same question like every 3 or 4 years. Find my past.
That's brand new.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I was gonna say, well, what's this for find my past? It's like $1,000, I don't remember hearing about that.
So we used to get what's called Percy. It's a periodical resource that actually started at Allen County. They actually developed it. They sold that to, well, it used to be under Heritage Quest, which we
Mhm,
subscribed
mhm,
to,
mhm.
but they moved it, or actually Find My Past purchased Percy from Allen County, so it's now owned by Percy, and it is a genealogy
Okay.
resource that our patrons like. So it's actually out of the UK, and just now got it, so,
Find my past.
find my past.
I did have a question, since you brought that up, and it's about a genealogy piece. We do have ancestry as well, don't we? But is that only in the building, or is that?
Yes, yes, it's only in the building. Heritage Quest you can access from in the building and outside the building. Find My Past, I don't know, I'll have to check.
But Ancestry is definitely just in the building.
Ancestry's in the building.
In the building, and then you said,
Heritage Quest
Heritage Quest is,
is in the building, and you can access it from home too.
do they have to come in and set up a password before? Because that was one of those things that was, okay.
No, for Heritage, I've never had any problem with the exterior stuff, other than just having to have your library and your card number. Okay. And I think it's the same thing on the Heritage Quest.
Right, you just
Because I've
need your
checked the
PIN.
social security death index
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
Professional.
Okay.
Just something fun to do on
Yeah.
on a weekend, you know?
Great. Any other questions?
Mary, the 18,000 that we gave, is that to the engineers?
Yeah, can you tell me who it's made out to, and I can
It
tell you?
says, project design and pipe.
Right, that would have been the first set amount of work they've done.
Okay, maybe that's the architect, or is that?
That is the contractor. PDP is the contractor.
Okay, do the architect check that before we get the bill of what they want?
They come out, well, they come out every 2 weeks, and yes, he looks at what they've done. And if there's questions, they communicate. So.
And Primary is participating in those.
And Primary
meetings, right?
attends all the construction, well, yeah, they attend the construction meetings, but I can also pull it up, and you can look at
No, I don't, I just,
Okay,
if you get a big one though, you know, they can bill us for the product that they have already, but it's not here, and it's going to be used, so we want to be sure on that.
When is it that it get done?
when they gave us the timeline, they said, the very, very final last date he had down was July 9th, but they're actually hoping that'll be done by May 1st.
So they want to be out for the schools.
Yes,
Work.
yes. So, and the money for that bill and the money for primary engineering came out of the rainy day fund in those categories, so.
Any other questions?
Did we see anything else? I would make a motion.
Motion to pay the claims, do we have a second? Second, all those in favor of paying the monthly claims?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
There we go.
Move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn, yeah.
Don't we have to sign something here?
Monthly
Oh,
claims.
I should have
So we did-
Shouldn't I?
We did just approve the claims, okay. But I'm still going to move to adjourn.
I can second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.